Sahana vavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
We begin with an invocation to the Bhagavad Gita.
Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrutavarshini Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhagavadveshini Mukam karoti vachalam Panghum langhayate girim Yat kripa tamaham vande Paramanandamadhavam.
The Bhagavad Gita is one of the most enchanting and comprehensive dissertation which helps the ordinary mortal human being like you and me to rise to the highest level of perfection and become an extraordinary immortal spirit. The Bhagavad Gita has been translated into almost every major language in the world. Yet, its inherent message eludes the understanding of all of us, not because we lack the intelligence, not because we are not capable of it, but simply because we are stuck, limited with certain preconceived notions, misunderstandings of the Bhagavad Gita that we have picked up, I don't know from where. And so it is that Americans are learning from the Gita, Europeans are learning from the Gita, South Africans are learning, the whole world is learning from the Gita, except Indians. A few months ago, when I was in the United States, there was a person who, from a very large multinational corporation, who spoke about the principles of the Gita and how corporate America is looking for guidance from the Gita. And here we are, looking towards American business schools for tips on how to run our businesses. When we have all the power in the world, this is a fantastic book which gives simple techniques. When you hear them, they are so ridiculously simple that you wonder why you didn't apply them before. In fact, the best discoveries in the world, the greatest of inventions in the world are very simple. But it doesn't occur to any one of us. It needs a brilliant thinker. It needs outstanding people to arrive at the truth and to present this truth in a simple, practical manner. Not only is it simple, it is extremely attractive, very enchanting. The stories that you hear of Krishna's life portray this. And these stories have been communicated down the centuries, not just through lectures and discourses, but through every aspect of life, the performing arts, through dance, through music, through every medium possible. And yet, how we have managed to miss the message is, we deserve a Nobel Prize for it. So, before we get on to what the exact message of the Gita is, we need to tackle the misunderstandings. Before that, in essence, what is it that the Gita is talking about? The Gita is telling us, just as, let's take an example. When you look at yourself in an imperfect mirror, in a mirror that is not made properly, you see distortions in the image. Isn't that right? There are some mirrors in which you see an elongated version of you. There are some mirrors in which you see a roundish version of you. There are some in which you see a totally broken up image of you. But when you see this distorted image in the mirror, does it disturb you? Does it affect your daily activity? No, it doesn't. Because you have the understanding which is, you're grounded in this conviction that the distortions are only a factor of the reflecting medium, which is the mirror. It has no relevance whatsoever on you. You are perfect. You're whole. You're not affected by the distortions that you see in the mirror. And the Gita is talking about exactly that. Every one of us has distortions. These distortions are at the level of the body, mind, and intellect. All of us have imperfections in the body, in the mind, in the intellect. But you, the real you, is untouched by these distortions, because the distortions are only a factor of the reflecting medium, which is the body, mind, and intellect. When Milton, the great poet, went blind, he could have allowed the distortion of the body, which is depriving him of sight, to come in the way of his talent, his excellence in the field of poetry. But he did not allow that to happen. He rose above the imperfection, and in fact, after he went blind, came up with the most brilliant of all his compositions. When Stephen Hawking, a scientist of outstanding caliber, have you seen when he visited Bombay, India, you saw the debilitating handicap that he's suffering from physically. But did he allow it to come in the way? No. But all of us allow these handicaps to come in the way. We all have either physical or mental handicaps. There was a young boy who was born physically handicapped. And as he grew, his father would tell him, he said, you would insist that he come up with performance which matched that of every so-called ordinary person. And he would refuse to allow him to use his handicap as an excuse for lower performance. And he grew to be one of the, in fact, to be the only certified tennis coach in the United States who was handicapped. He would often say, he says, there's no difference between you and me. The only difference is you can see my handicap, I can't see yours. And the Gita is all about overcoming these handicaps and coming up with brilliant performance. And yet, we have strange notions about the Gita. We'll tackle a few of them. The first is, we believe that the Gita insists on our giving up the world and going where I don't understand. Yet, in the Gita itself, in chapter 11, verse 33, he says,
तस्मात् त्वमुत्तिष्ठ यशो लभस्व जित्वा शत्रून् भुङ्क्ष्व राज्यं समृद्धम् मयैवैते निहता पूर्वमेव निमित्तमात्रं भव सव्यसाचिन्.
What he says in the 11th chapter, as you all know, the background of the Gita is, here is Arjuna, the commander-in-chief of the Pandava forces, an outstanding person, a well-skilled person, well-educated person like all of us. And yet when he comes up with the real challenge of his life, he breaks down, crumbles. And tells Krishna, he is the one who tells Krishna, Krishna, what are we doing here in mundane activity like fighting a war? Let's retire to the jungles, let's retire to the Himalayas and do some meaningful spiritual study. It is Krishna who tells him, no, your spiritual sadhana is here, right here. Fight this battle. And he says, therefore, arise and obtain fame. Having conquered the enemies, enjoy this affluent kingdom. Where is that and where is our misconception? And then he says, what are you worried about killing these people? Don't worry about them. They have already been killed by me. What he means is their karma itself has landed them in this situation. Why? There's no place for weak pity here. You be a mere instrument. Oh, Savyasachin. Savyasachin means ambidextrous, means a person who is outstandingly skilled. So, life is not about, the Gita does not recommend giving up things and going away. In fact, the Gita says, here the world is before you to enjoy, to acquire. But the problem is, we neither know how to acquire the world, nor do we know how to enjoy the world. Whether it is acquisition of the world or enjoyment of the world, we need to fall back on the very Gita that we think is taking away our enjoyment. And it is this prescription that helps us to achieve fame, acquire wealth, and enjoy this. Friends, remember, every day you're reading in the newspapers. Recently, there was a report by Goldman Sachs which said that India is going to be the second greatest economic power in the world, having overtaken the United States by the year 2050 or some such thing. And we are all, first of all, we don't even believe it. We think, oh, this Goldman Sachs sitting there in New York is passing a judgment. We doesn't know the realities in India. But the truth of the matter is, if we just take a little bit, kinchit, Bhagavad Gita, kinchidadhita, just a little bit of the principles of the Gita and apply it in our lives, we will reach that status not in 2050, in 2015. But the problem is, we're not able to get the message of the Gita. You see, the thing is, to rise above these handicaps, whether it is physical, emotional, or intellectual, you have to fall back on the Gita. There is no literature, no course anywhere in the world which spells out so clearly how to overcome your own debilitating handicaps and overcome them, rise above them, and effortlessly get to excellence. This is the main point. Yes, others reach some levels of excellence, but they pay a huge price for it. Their health goes down, they wreak havoc in the environment, they end up with confused, messed up relationships. But here is a prescription which allows you to have everything. It's a win-win situation. The next problem we have with studying the Gita, particularly the youngsters. Young people don't want to come to the Gita because they believe that, oh, the Gita will take away our enjoyment of the world. But take a look at what we are doing right now, and take a look at what the Gita is prescribing. The Gita says, we are not there to take away your enjoyment. We are there to restore the enjoyment, give back the enjoyment that you have already given away, lost. So, the only thing they do is to give us a prescription by which we will be able to enjoy every aspect of life till the last day of our lives without it diminishing. And in verse 64 of chapter 2, he says,
रागद्वेषवियुक्तैस्तु विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवश्यैर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादमधिगच्छति.
it gives the prescription for self-control, which means prescription for sense enjoyment. And what does it say? It says two things. Number one, raga dvesha viyuktaha. You should be able to disconnect. You see, everyone is born with distinct likes and dislikes. If you don't believe me, look at a 2-month-old infant, 3-month-old infant. It can't speak, it can't communicate, it can't hear, it has so many handicaps. But one thing it does, it asserts its likes and dislikes. That little child, you try making it do what it doesn't like to do, and see what happens. It very strongly asserts its likes and its dislikes. So we're all born with likes and dislikes. And during our life, we go around picking up more likes and dislikes. And thereafter, these likes and dislikes then drive you to activity. So today, we are in a position where we are doing things that we like to do, and we are avoiding things that we don't like to do, and we are caught up. You can't extricate yourself from your likes and dislikes, and you merely succumb weakly to these likes and dislikes. All that the Gita is saying is that if you merely perform an activity because you like it and avoid something just because you don't like it, this functioning on likes and dislikes creates a fresh cycle of desires in your system, fresh likes and dislikes in your system, which means more trouble. Because you get bound by those likes and dislikes. You know, there was a South Indian gentleman who was posted to Delhi, and he took a tour to Chandigarh, Punjab, for 10 days. And wherever he went, there was just variations of chapatis. Chapatis, roti, paratha, lacha paratha, this, that and the other. Not even one grain of rice. He got so disgusted. He came back to Delhi and said, what kind of a place is this? There's no food there. And thereafter he refused to go to Punjab because he can't survive without curd rice. Then there was a young Punjabi girl from Bombay here who went on a tour to Madras, Chennai. And there, breakfast, lunch and dinner. You know what it is. Rice, rice and rice. By the 4th day, she was tearing her hair and saying, I can't eat this rice anymore. So what is happening is, when you function on your likes and dislikes, you get bound by those likes and dislikes, and thereafter you lose the flexibility, the elasticity to live anywhere in the world happily. We lose this capacity to adjust to the world. Thereafter, your world shrinks to only like this gentleman, Chennai, and that young girl, Punjab. After that, he got transferred to Shanghai. He said, I'm not going. So you get bound by these likes and dislikes. How do you get freedom? You know, this moksha that the Gita talks about is not just absolute liberation, the state of realization. It is liberation from all these little things. Then you tell yourself, I said, am I living for food? Is food going to dictate my life? Or do I decide what to eat? As long as I get nutrition, as long as I keep body and soul together, what difference does it make? 10 days I eat something I dislike. So what? So we are not saying, the Gita doesn't say that you should constantly do what you dislike and avoid what you like. It gives a very practical way out, which is when the like comes up in your mind, when the dislike surfaces in your mind, don't allow it to directly prompt you to action. Think about it. Scan the likes and dislikes through the intellect. And this intellect then guides your likes and dislikes properly. And if it is in your interest to pursue that like, the intellect says, okay, and by all means go ahead and enjoy it. You will enjoy it without a sense of guilt. You will enjoy it without any remorse, and therefore you will enjoy it 100%. In addition, you will not get bound by that activity. You have contacted the sense object, you have enjoyed it thoroughly, there is no backlash of a desire on your personality, and it's a win-win situation. But if you function on your likes and dislikes, you create a fresh layer of desire in your personality, you get bound by those likes and dislikes, and you enter a prison of your own making from which you cannot extricate yourself. So this is one method by which you control the senses. The second is, you may not be functioning on likes and dislikes. You may not even know about the existence of a certain sense enjoyment. And you go to a place, for instance, recently I went to Kolkata, and there someone offered me, the whole of Calcutta functions only on mishti. You know what mishti is? Sweets. They have mishti with breakfast, they have mishti with lunch, they have mishti with dinner. The whole day they're eating only mishti. So when someone from outside of Calcutta comes, especially, they give you an array of sweets, delicious sweets. And so you have it. Let's say you've gone there, you have the sweet, and you like it. Up to that stage, it's perfectly all right. You can enjoy whatever the world has to offer. You can eat, help yourself to it. There is no limit. But after having eaten it, when you come back to Mumbai, if your mind is reliving the enjoyment of that particular mishti, the sweet that you've had, what happens? Because your mind is lingering, because you're constantly thinking of that object, it creates a fresh like in your system. Thereafter, instead of enjoying what Mumbai gives you, which is a lot, you're sitting here and planning and programming how to get the next batch of mishti from Kolkata. And this is what makes the world go round. It's incredible how people from India, when they are here, they want Mexican food, they want Thai food, they want all kinds of food. And the moment they take a flight out of here and they go to Bangkok, they carry thepla, they carry boxes and boxes of Indian food to have when they are in Thailand. Because you're driven by likes and dislikes. If only this is how you end up paying excess baggage wherever you go. Because there is excess baggage here of likes and dislikes, of desires. If you don't have this, what will you do? When you're here, you will help yourself to what is available, what is indigenous to this place. When you go to Thailand, you enjoy thoroughly what is available there. When if you go to Mexico, you enjoy Mexican food. When you go to China, you enjoy Chinese food. There is no excess baggage that you're carrying. So, two things. Existing likes and dislikes should not drive you to activity, and a fresh experience, a fresh enjoyment which you experience should not create a fresh wave of likes and dislikes in you. If you do this, you can go ahead and enjoy whatever there is in the world to any extent that you want, no limits, no controls, no external controls, and you are still leading a life of self-control. If you don't do this, you end up in a hell of a mess, where there is all kinds of things plaguing you. So this is as far as enjoyment is concerned. The third thing that misunderstanding that has completely ruined our society is the fact that we believe the Bhagavad Gita asks us to renounce action and retire. Therefore, all of us believe that the Gita is meant for retired people, senior citizens. The Bhagavad Gita is a technique for living life. It's not meant for retirement. You know, the other day there's a company here that very nicely, very considerately organizes retirement planning for those of their employees who are about to retire in the next few months, 1 year, etc. And they asked me to go and speak to them. So first of all, I said, the Gita is not meant for retirees. You give management trainees, the new entrants into the company, why don't you give them that exposure? But this is the misunderstanding that